love when you start the day here at the park. You get here early, like an hour and a half before the park opens, and there's very little people here. You get your hopes up for an amazingly slow day, but then comes...
Once a beast, always a beast. It's a fact.
Now, there was no film of my parents going into Tomorrowland. None at all. There was none. There was none. And there definitely was nothing from Star Wars, since we're talking about 1971. But I have to talk to Rey. Maybe she has some insight. She could use the Force. My parents had their honeymoon in this galaxy.
Well, that's very
47 years. Can you imagine? 47 years ago. So I'm asking, if you had a honeymoon using your Force, what would be the best honeymoon you can create with your Force? Like that, like bam, like anything you wanted.
You just, I mean, you can lift things and change things.
That's a magical.
I don't know if it would make any honeymoon experience.
But that'd be fun though. You can go out and like lift things together.
Lift things together,
lift each other.
Romance is really foreign to me. I'm afraid I'm not really the best help at honeymoons.
Oh, that's yeah. You know, well, maybe Kylo, maybe. No. Okay.
That's a no for me.
That's a no for you. I'm in line to see Kylo right now, and I'm all alone.
Will you join us?
I won't join you. But I just saw Rey, okay? Rey, she's doing very well. She's doing very well. I think you're happy to know that, you know? And one great thing is that my parents...
I don't think you grasp the consequences.
I made a mistake.
You made a mistake?
And then what does that mean? You're gonna zap me? Don't. Listen, it's about honeymoons, okay? Because my parents came here 47 years ago.
Let us hope you weren't expecting an answer to that.
Okay. All right. Well, I tried, right? That deserves something.
You would support our enemy.
I will not support.
Reconsider your options.
Okay. Thank you.
While you still have them.
Oh. Okay. That was a threat. That was a threat. Okay. Want to say goodbye?
This is true.
This is true. Want to say goodbye to everybody? This is my weapon. It's my lightsaber. It's the same things you have there, but it's just, it's called Panasonic. I mean, have you met Kylo?
I have.
Did he give you like
very sassy person?
Did he give you a little bit of a boot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's sassy.
Definitely.
But I got a feeling you like sassy.
I do.
You like sassy. Hello, everybody out there. If you love Disney, if you love fantasy, if you love fairy tales, queens, fairies, if you love anything fantasy, listen. If you want to be a part of this family, please check out the vlogs. If you like what you see, press that subscribe button down below. Press it.
Stop crying.
I can't take it. Please press it. We want you part of the EPC family today. Thank you so much. Now, on with the vlog. They had no idea that there was an eyelash in the lens. Not until they got the film developed did they realize that half of their honeymoon, things have changed. Technology has changed. You don't worry about stuff like that anymore. Hello, EPC family. Usually, I look to my left and I look to my right to make sure there's no one around when I scream, hello, EPC family. How are you doing today? Today, I'm at Disneyland, DCA. If I wasn't at Disneyland, where would I be?
Kicking your fins.
Kicking your fins.
You don't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing.
Today's gonna be a very special day because I went into the Carlson archives. The archives of the Carlsons. And where did they go for their honeymoon? You got it. They've only been to Disneyland once in their life. Once in their life. And that was their honeymoon back in 1971. That's almost 50 years ago. So I'm gonna go around the park and try to match up their honeymoon tape, their honeymoon film with today. Now I'm going to try to replicate my father's shots exactly. Right here we start at the front entrance. Not much has changed. It looks like there's a few more flags back in 1971 than there is now. And then you have the train station. In just a month or less, the Headless Horseman will be right there. There's already Disneyland merchandise out and about. Look at this, you got this little vampire Mickey t-shirt. You got your lanyards, your Oogie Boogie lanyards. You have these Halloween themed mini ears, which I absolutely love. I remember them from last year. And look at this, you got this little nubbin on top of this little Mickey hat. I love the characters in their Halloween costumes. Seriously, I get emotional when I see them. I really get emotional. You got Mickey as a vampire, of course. You got Goofy. You got Goofy as the mummy. Complete costume, complete mummy costume. I'm trying to get my parents to come back out. You know, maybe next year. Of course, I can show them all the new things that have happened in the past 50 years. I guess they're not new anymore. I guess they're not new if they're 50 years old. We have taken so much for granted. Back in 1971, my father had to walk around with a huge camera with film strips that lasted 3 minutes, and each of these film strips cost a fortune. So his shots, which is very understandable, are very quick, and he tried to get everything real quick. Like this. This is my... Like this. Get everything. Oh, there's a lantern. Over here. Oh, any ducks? No ducks. That's what he had to do because it was so expensive to shoot film. They had to get everything quickly. Didn't have time to set up shots like I do. I'm sitting there with the GoPro, like, you know, I'll shoot for an hour. I will shoot for 2 hours. I will shoot for 3 hours.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi, Danica. Hi, Patricia. It's Queen Elsa.
It's me, Anna.
We're here at Disneyland. Come see us very
Come
soon.
visit Disneyland.
Yes.
It's the best.
Or maybe come to Arendelle, but bring your mittens just in case we get into a snowball
it might
fight.
get a little cold.
We now return to your regular programming.
I could watch you all day.
I could too.
I could watch you all day.
I'm actually jealous you get to watch me all day. I wish I could see me.
I got front row seats over there. Listen, I'm going around. I'm about a honeymoon, okay? My parents came here 47 years ago. They had their honeymoon here at Disneyland. The only time they were here.
Really?
The only time they were here. So I'm asking, if you were to marry Belle, what would your honeymoon to be?
Back at the cottage.
Back at the cottage.
Hey, yeah, staring at myself.
Yes.
It's the best honeymoon ever.
Yes,
Is that not the best honeymoon ever?
Oh, that was your answer?
Okay.
Okay, staring at yourself, anything for Belle?
Yeah, she could stare at me too.
You have the Disneyland Skyway, which I would have loved to go on. Seriously, I can't imagine what that must have been like. Then you had the monorail with the beautiful eyelash right dead center in the middle of the frame. I feel so bad for my parents. There's no water today on the Matterhorn because the Matterhorn is closed. Now, obviously, there was no fantasy fair. There was no fantasy fair in 1971. That was not even something in somebody's imagination. 1971. Absolutely not. I want to see what you guys did on your honeymoon because we don't know. We don't know.
Goodness, it was one of my favorite days in the entire
Flynn,
world.
all right, there you go. I don't know what you did, but come on.
He did a really great job.
All right.
Let's just say it had to involve a boat and even more lanterns.
Yes.
And even on that night for dinner, Pascal and Maximus joined us as well.
Oh.
I
This is the Matterhorn Mountain Ear. Can you believe this? Can you imagine just walking by and seeing this? One big change is it's a small world. This is what it looks like today in all of its glory. But as you can see from 1971 footage, that big sign in the front, that no longer exists. Although not huge, that has to be the biggest change thus far that I have seen over 50 years. Is the beginning, the start of Frontierland. Definitely, a little change, a little update. They're allowed to do that after 50 years. So I wanted to get the shot, to remake the shot of my mother walking out of the exit of the Haunted Mansion. But little did I know, it is now covered up until Halloween. What if in 40 and 50 years, somebody does the same thing with my videos? Goes to the park and tries to match up shots of particular vlogs. That'd be very special. I don't know who it would be. Who would it be?